Meanwhile, a federal high court sitting in Benin City on Tuesday adjourned the case of an alleged aiding of suicide committed by Lillian Omokwale, daughter of Mr. Francis Oloton, CEO Uyi Technical Conglomerate, formerly charged against 6 persons, which has now reduced to 4 persons, as defendants to March 25, 2025. BTV News Osarogi Agwabo reports that the adjournment followed the preliminary objection motion filed by the counsel to the first defendant, Jessica Iguadalo. The report.
At the resumed hearing in the case on Tuesday, counsel to the prosecutor and defendant gave their appearances. The second, third, and fourth defendants were present in court, while the first defendant, Jessica Godala, was absent. Counsel to the prosecutor, P.O. Odion, pleaded with the court to withdraw the charge dated January 23, 2024. Counsel to the defendant agreed to the withdrawal of the first charge but seek that the prosecutor provide them with a copy of the new charge so that they can review the new charge to understand the allegations and prepare their defense. The presiding judge, S.N. Shaibu, granted the plea of the counsel to the prosecutor as he struck out the first charge and replaced it with the new charge, and asked the counsel to the prosecutor to provide the defendant counsel a copy of the new charge during the proceedings. Thereafter, counsel to the prosecutor, P.O. Odion, presented a copy of the new charge to the defendant. He informed the court that with the absence of the first respondent, Jessica Igodala, in court, despite the previous bench warrant applied against her, having discovered that she lived outside the country, they have liaised with the Interpol outside Nigeria to execute the warrant against the first defendant. Counsel to the first defendant, Dele Igbinedion, objected to the warrant application filed by the counsel to the prosecutor, stating that his duty as the counsel is to represent his client, since she is outside the country as she is currently based in Germany. Dele Igbinedion informed the court about a motion filed to object the charge brought by the prosecutor against his client and seek for adjournment for preliminary objection on the case. Counsel for the prosecutor, P.O. Odion, objected against the application for a motion of preliminary objection filed by the counsel to the defendant, stating that the notice of preliminary objection by the defendant is premature as the first defendant has not pleaded the charge against her before the court. Meanwhile, the presiding judge, S.N. Shaibu, after hearing from both parties, adjourned the hearing to March 25, 2025, for both parties to argue the preliminary objection filed by the defendant. Speaking with journalists after the adjournment of the hearing, counsel to the first defendant, Dele Igbinedion, described the charge against his client as frivolous and needs to be dismissed because the matter is actually a civil dispute rather than a criminal case. He said the prosecutor has no basis to bring criminal charges against his client as she only borrowed money to the late Miss Lillian Omokwale and has nothing to do with her death. Also, the counsel holding brief for the family of Mrs. Lillian Omokwale, Douglas Obaka, Esquire, said the preliminary objection filed by the counsel for the defendant is premature and claimed that the defendants are delaying the matter.
The case is frivolous because it's just a case of somebody giving loan to the daughter of Uyi Technica. She collected loan, she refused to pay back before she committed suicide. Now they are charging my client who lives in Germany that she's the one that assisted her to commit suicide in Nigeria. I have never seen it where somebody will assist a person owing you money to commit suicide. How will you not get your money?
I want to say first of all that cases are not determined by interviews in the media. What is important is what is instituted in courts and the records of courts. And I also want to state clearly that this is a matter that has many dimensions and also a lot of implications for the larger society. As we speak, the court has given an adjournment in this matter for parties to argue a notice of preliminary objection, which in our estimation is premature, following section 3964 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act of Nigeria, which states that before you can raise a notice of preliminary objection, the defendant must take plea. That has not been done. So as far as we are concerned, this is a ploy to delay this matter, to stall the matter. And I want to tell you that whether the perpetrators are brought to justice or justice are brought to perpetrators, justice should be done in this matter.
However, family members and friends of the first defendant, Jessica Igodala, were at the court premises to show support for their daughter and appeal to leave their daughter alone, stating that she is innocent of the accusation leveled against her. Osarogi Agwebo reporting for BTV News.